coming from Central Massachusetts, I feel that I have a special responsibility to make sure that not only the interest of Central Mass or Worcester County, but also making sure that when we have conversations about policy, about the distribution of resources, that we think of geographic equity and make sure that we remember that we are one Commonwealth, and that doesn't include just one piece of the geography of Massachusetts, but the whole.
As Lieutenant Governor, Tim Murray is a tireless advocate for the people and values of Central Massachusetts. Tim's leadership has been creating jobs, repairing our roads and bridges, rebuilding our state colleges, investing in the life sciences, and supporting vital services for those most vulnerable among us.
I've been fortunate, and I think I've been privileged to work with the Patrick Murray administration because we see them. They have come out to the district. They have been at the community meetings. During the ice storm of 2008, Christmas Eve morning, Tim and I were in Ashby. The past administrations never paid as much attention, especially outside 495.
He has, no doubt about it, shined as Lieutenant Governor. He's been a great partner to Val Patrick. But the reason why he shined is because he hasn't lost sight of his roots. I mean, he's still a regular guy. Tim gets it. You know, when he leaves the State House, you know, it's usually to go to a Dunkin' Donuts or to a diner, you know, and have a cup of coffee and talk to people and to listen to them.
We all have mentors in life, and in politics and government, I remember early on two mentors that I had on the Worcester City Council, John Anderson and Tim Cooney, and they taught me that, you know, when someone calls, picks up the phone for a pothole that needs to be filled, or if they're concerned about the sidewalk or tree outside their front door, or if they're concerned about the neighborhood school or the park, that oftentimes that's the only time that they'll call government. And how you respond or don't respond is oftentimes going to shape how they see government.
Tim listens to our veterans and their families, knowing that every generation of veterans has unique needs, which is why he makes an effort to ensure every veteran has access to the services and benefits they have earned. To give families a bright spot in the summers, Tim pushed the state to rebuild a pool at Vernon Hill Park and rededicated it in honor of Corporal Dennis F. Shine, Jr.
Tim had been very much involved in domestic violence as city councilor and mayor. His reputation and commitment was there well before he was in the Lieutenant Governor's office. So as head of the Governor's Commission, you didn't have to educate him on the issue. The public health advisory that was announced put domestic violence at a level that it had never been. Only diseases get to the level of a health advisory.
At the table, he is that power broker that is going to get the funds that we need. He's going to be the one that brokers the deal to make sure that all sides are getting what they deserve. And I think that's really what people like about him. He's not necessarily looking for the limelight, but he's looking to get the job done.
He convenes these meetings in Washington with Senator Kerry and myself. There were dozens of meetings, and he brought in all the relevant players, including CSX, which runs the rail line, and he, like a bulldog, kind of dug in and negotiated until we had a deal which resulted in more trains. He was able to actually deliver on something that previous administrations had promised but never followed through with.
I've seen in my lifetime how the economy's changed, and from one that was heavily manufacturing to one that's transitioned. And as we transition to more of a white collar and green collar, there's still a blue collar approach, I think, and a ethic that exists in this community, in this area. And so I think the most important thing that I've learned is show up every day and work hard, and if you're persistent and focused and strategic in how you go about your work, you can get things done.
Central Mass has been fighting for better rail service for decades. As Lieutenant Governor, Tim brokered a historic agreement to expand passenger and freight service throughout the state. And there is new hope for Worcester Airport because Tim Murray secured the state's commitment to take control.
He knows the issues, whether it be domestic violence, homelessness, that he learned and committed to finding ways to bring people together around these problems in Worcester, and then he could bring that experience to the state. People can go to him and talk about what's important in their area. and what's important to them.
Tim understands the fact that we have to have priorities and we have to stop thinking from year to year. We need to start thinking out 5 and 10 years, and that's really what he's done. So to take that leadership role and understand that you have 6 million people that you're representing and that you're serving is tough. But I think he's shown that this is a time of true leadership, and he's exhibited that.
What we need right now in this economically difficult time are people who know how to govern. And Deval Patrick and Tim Murray know how to govern. And governing doesn't always mean you tell people what they want to hear. Governing means that you tell people the truth, that you're honest with people, that you level with them about what's at stake.
A lot of leadership is about innovating, adapting, and finding a way to get things done. And we've been able to do that. No one could predict back in 2006 that we would be governing during the worst economic downturn since the Great Depression. So I think we've managed well, while at the same time addressing the deferred maintenance and the debt that we've been left, and by strategically building sectors of our economy which we think have real opportunities for significant growth, in which every region of the state can participate in.
Worcester is now a leader in life sciences. The Patrick Murray administration is investing $90 million in UMass Medical School for a research center to translate Nobel Prize-winning science into therapies that help people. Thanks to Tim, construction is underway on a new psychiatric hospital for patients in central Massachusetts who for far too long have been burdened by antiquated facilities.
Well, Governor Patrick and I come from 2 different backgrounds, 2 different places, 2 very different stories. But at the core, I think, of our relationship is an agreement that you can't shirk the tough decisions. And it's not just about providing services or maintaining services or infrastructure, but it's also trying to leave things better off than you found them and engaging in something that has been missing, I think, in too many different levels of government, about generational responsibility. And by making decisions today and in making investments today, people for generations benefit from that.